Moin, ihr wunderbare Menschen des Interwebs. Ich begrüße euch ganz herzlich zurück zu meinem Let's Play von The Great Ace-Attorney Chronicles. Wir haben von Gina die Papiere bekommen, die wir brauchen, um uns hier nun ein wenig zu sehen. Und das werden wir jetzt auch tun. We are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Your ladyship. I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragamush to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes, I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime then? Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through the door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina. Right, well, I will be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taking forever, even with the lads working round the clock. Which is a problem, cause there's another case the yard needs to investigate urgently. Must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Come then, let us not waste any time. Okay, ich würde mich aber gerne erst hier einmal umsehen. Und zwar möchte ich jetzt endlich einmal diesen Kalender hier unter die Lupe nehmen. Look here. Oh yes, a bullet hole, and I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. Oh, well... Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry. It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't it right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? Suspicious red stain on the calendar. I may well be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo? I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see, when it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh no, what is that scary looking thing? Burley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet, but as soon as you see it in action, you will understand what it does. Watch. Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. There, does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good, it works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color, so you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great. So, whose blood are we looking at then? Well, all the chemical doesn't turn the blood at different colors, so just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you will know who it belongs to in a flash. It's more like 2 flashes really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So we must make a note of it in the court record. Okay, a sample of blood analyzed with a special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turn different colors. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any of their blood analyses to the portfolio. As long as I have region left, sure. Okay, good. Green blood. Just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know? Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. Okay, ansonsten fällt mir auf. Dann würde ich mir gerne einmal angucken. There's the article ledger here in Mr. Winniebank's notes, and so someone has left a little photographic print behind. Look on the back, there's some writing. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie, show us. 15th February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited. 1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid £1. Redemption deadline 5th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat on for £1? Really, it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to McGilded. Would never have expected the redemption ticket to be written on the back of a photograph. On a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Winniebank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have to hand. But this photograph of a cat, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh yes, you're right, very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Of course, I was forgetting that she gave us a print. Well, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out! Right, alright. Let the clock's turn. Yes, they're exactly the same. I've got it! These 2 photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. So, Iris, about these 2 photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Winniebank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these 2 identical prints? Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry. If you look carefully, the 2 prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They are not? Have another look at them now. Also, den einzigen Unterschied, den ich erkenne, ist, dass die Katze auf dem Bild weg von der Kamera guckt und im zweiten Bild guckt sie zu der Kamera. Oder? Je länger ich zwischen den beiden Bildern hin und her switche, desto verwirrter werde ich. Aber ich glaube, die Katze hier guckt weg und die Katze guckt in die Kamera. You see that they are just slightly different from each other? So, it's subtle, so... But what's the reason for this subtle difference between the 2 prints? Well, it's because they are a set, you see? No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. A stereoscope. I feel as though I've heard that word before recently. Oh yes, that's what Mr. Sholmes showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there. Ah yes, of course, that magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually... quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? Oh, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful! Then I will be able to tell you. Over the moon, bless her. To let her explain, though, we really need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Have you ever considered, Runo, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just opened them and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you will see straight away. What you see with your left eye and what you see with your right eye are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seem to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. My brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consist of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Ah, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you would be able to see depth in these prints. Yes, Runo, you're beginning to understand. And the stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go. Little-son really lost this kind of thing. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I can. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? There, how's that? Wonderful, now it's your turn, Runo. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try it, looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Runo. I'm going to have it. I'm just going to have to give it a try, I suppose. Let the print split into two images for you. Now, the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try crossing your eyes again. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image to the center. Oh yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real! Oh, I could look at it all day! Oh my god. Kannst du dazu bitte nochmal gucken? I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Runo. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like this, is it? There, you managed it, so now you know how stereoscopic images work. Ich glaube, man hätte das jetzt gerade wirklich ausprobieren sollen, ne? Aber ich kann das nicht. Ich kann nicht schielen. Ich weiß nicht. Immer wenn ich das versuche, tun meine Augen so schnell weh. Ich krieg das irgendwie nicht hin. I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So, what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Bruno? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. Now, some people find it easier than others, but that's why contraptions like this exist for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs in the stand at the back end. It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you have them. Like you hate them, glaube ich. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I would never even heard of them until yesterday. I've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I will ever actually need. Wahrscheinlich. Photograph. Little white cat. I feel as though I have another print like this. Okay, wir müssen uns davon definitiv noch die Rückseite angucken. Okay, ich glaube, mehr können wir mit Iris nicht mehr reden. Aber war eine sehr, sehr schöne Lehrstunde. Also, das fand ich schon spannend, alles mir mit anzuhören. So, dann gucken wir uns das Bild mal an. Rückseite. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilda 2 months earlier, article deposited one gentleman's overcoat. And the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of the coat. Yes, for a small box, deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Have anything to do with all this? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. Red smear, you mean? Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Suzuto-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case, yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. White cat photograph number 2. Information has been updated in the court record. Okay, dann würde ich sagen, zeigen wir das Ganze mal Iris und dann feuern wir da auch mal wieder ihre Erfindung drauf. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. Look at that. Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Also, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Die Frage ist, habe ich eine Idee? Also eigentlich nur Mr. Winniebank. Wirklich. Wenn. Ich meine, wir können es ja mal probieren. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color returned, but with a little deduction. That's right, I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that is the blood of... Oh, okay, wir haben mehr Möglichkeiten. Okay, wir müssen nicht wählen von den Leuten, die wir in unserer Akte haben. Magnus McGilded, Gina Lestrade, Thrice Fired Mason oder Pop Winniebank. Okay. Dann glaube ich tatsächlich, dass das Blut von Mason ist. Der im Omnibus umgebracht wurde. Thrice Fired Mason. You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course, I had never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice fired, though. Victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Winniebank's yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. That's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGillett was also wearing leather gloves that night. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGillett had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Ryuno. Very well, let's make a note of this. Yay, a redemption ticket issued from the pawnbroker owned by the victim, Mr. Winniebank. The blood on it has been identified as... Und das Portfolio abgedeckt. Gut, dann würde ich sagen, gucken wir uns einmal weiter um. Allerdings werden wir das erst im nächsten Part tun. Ich bedanke mich wie immer ganz herzlich fürs Zusehen, hoffe ihr hattet Spaß und wenn ihr mögt, sehen wir uns sehr, sehr gerne im nächsten Part wieder. Bis dahin, ciao!